gentlemen, podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio with your hosts, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Peña, the always opinionated Paris Lily, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 1241. This is your host, Danny Peña, and joining me on this episode of GTR, we have Pete. What's going on, Pete?
What up, folks? What up, Danny? How you?
Good, man. Good, Pete. I know this is a couple weeks back. We talked about this. We were talking about getting the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9, and I was like, let me think about it. You I know you said the same exact thing. I purchased mine already last week. So I'm getting it either tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm excited to play my PC games. Also, I'm gonna connect my Xbox Series console there too. I'm excited. So excited to check it out, man. I know you're getting it too.
Yeah, so
you made the move. So when you made the move, because I'm curious.
Like, obviously, we had talked about it. I had already run that through management. She was already aware of it, and she had months ago, like we said, like we were talking about on the after show. It was just she gave me the green light to proceed. So I was just like, oh well, I mean, it's just a matter of time. Sure. When is the moment? And so I struck in a moment of weakness. Had surgery. And was talking and, commiserating with the wife, negotiating. And I was just like, we're getting ready to clear out the spare room, my daughter's room now that she's out in college. She's been there for a year plus. We're not kicking her out. Now we're going to convert it into an office and guest room. And the wife was like, all right, so, we had already gone out and purchased the furniture. It gets delivered like in 2 weeks, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, so do I have the okay to get the monitor? And she's like, I thought you already ordered it. I was just like, click.
You were like, I have to wait.
And so it's funny because it like 2 days after surgery, it arrived, right? Like I literally did it the day before surgery. So then like last Thursday had surgery. Friday, it gets delivered. Right. And my wife is like, most people get flowers after surgery. You get a new 49-inch monitor.
Hey, that's how you do it, man. That's how you do it. I'm gonna connect mine. I have a couple games that I definitely want to try it out to see how it looks in there, especially Forza Horizon, Cyberpunk. I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk, by the way. I've been taking a break because right now I'm just like playing High Five Rush, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes, and also Dead Space. I've been playing that a lot, but those are the games I'm going to try out first, man, to see. Because I know not all games support the widescreen. Right. I know Fortnite does, and Apex, and a couple other ones. So I can't wait to try it out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I love the fact that because like right now I've got dual monitors, right? Two 27-inch monitors, blah blah blah. But with this, with the Samsung G9, not sponsored. This shit came out my pocket. Sorry, I cursed. Apologies, but yeah, that came out of my pocket. Okay, but I want the cleaner look on in my thing. And with those monitors, you can snap, two separate windows to full 20, not full screen, but half screen. Half the screen is one window, half the screen is another. You can also do picture in picture, which is really cool. So it's, it takes the technology part that, I'm always tinkering with audio and TV and computers, et cetera. But now it brings it to the monitor. I mean, these monitors are old. I had these before I even moved to Switzerland. So it's cool to finally upgrade that little bit and just, did you get the arm, by the way? Did you get the mounting arm? Or?
Not yet. I'm planning to get that.
That's what I did.
Right now, I'm going to just use whatever it comes with and see how that vibe is, and then I'll get the mount later.
Yeah. Negotiate with management. You've been warned.
Oh,
Rihanna.
yeah. Oh,
Prepare.
She's down. Rihanna's down. She's down. She's like, go for it. She's down. We talked about it. All right. So we have a lot of topics here. So head over to Gamertag Radio GamertagRadio.com. Listen to our past episodes. Also, you can find us on any podcast app. All you have to do is just search for Gamertag Radio. We're there. Post a review, subscribe, follow us. It will help us out to get new people to listen to the show based on your support. So also, if you'd like to be part of our family discussions, which we have a couple questions here we're going to play on this podcast, all you have to do is just contact us, and here's how.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, Pete. So we have a couple topics here. First of all, you got to see the Xbox developer direct.
Yep. I did not watch it live, so I had to watch the replay. But I mean, there was not really anything different. It just gave me a chance to actually jump through to bits and actually rewind instead of being stuck live.
Yeah.
No, it was good. I mean, it was 44 minutes, so I like the fact that it wasn't like a long, drawn out like hour and a half, 2 hours, and that includes like the 15-minute like warning buffer. So technically, it's about 35 minutes, which honestly for something like that was perfect, right? We knew they were going to drop 4 games, but then right at the end they threw that little redacted screen on the 5th one, and everybody was like, "Wait, Tango redacted?" So it was cool the way they brought it out, right? They brought it up, made people think about it, and then they announced it, and we can go off in order, right? They talked about Mojang. Mojang. I think we've all been mispronouncing it incorrectly all this time. But Mojang with Minecraft Legends coming out April 18th, 2023. I don't remember what we said for timelines for this group of things, so we can always go back to the archives and talk about that. But yeah, Minecraft Legends, April 18th. It's pretty interesting after actually seeing a more dedicated gameplay iteration and video of it. It kind of feels like it's got bits of League of Legends and Clash of Clans, but it's still Minecraft to its heart. So it's interesting seeing how now all of a sudden you've got like the top down, where you've got like the little area of effect and you've got your little minions following you a la Minecraft, but then you've got the Clash of Clans where you're attacking another, the piglins, their castle essentially, and you're building while you're doing that. So it's cool to see how they've added all these 3 different, or they've added these 2 different game type iterations on top of the classic Minecraft experience, but not losing the identity of the game itself. And I dug Minecraft when it first came on board when it first came out, and then obviously when it was purchased by Microsoft. But it's always been something that has continued to have a massively loyal fan base, and it's always been fun and just a great way to just step away from, just regular games in general, right? Because it's so different. So I'm interested. I don't know if it's up my alley because I don't know if I have a lot of people that I would play with. Unless
you go, I'm playing. I'm going to play that game. So it looks cool.
There you go. Hey, and of course it's on Xbox Game Pass, so everybody gets a chance to explore and enjoy it.
Yeah, before I talk about Minecraft Legends, I have to say that this format of the Xbox Developer Direct, I think this is something that the company needed, because I know they had Inside Xbox, they had like other videos, presentations in the past, and it was like a hit and miss. But I think this one was a lot better. It was just straight from the developers talking about their games. A couple surprises, and I just love the editing. The production value was really, really good, man. And I'm glad, very, very glad that that Xbox also had announcements of release dates for not all games, the majority of the games, because the only one that we haven't heard anything yet, it still says 2023, is Forza Motorsport. So look, if the game got delayed, whatever, just a little bit, that's fine with me. I want Turn 10 to take their time just working on this game, and hopefully we get to see a masterpiece, man. Once it comes out, man, 'cause they've been working on this for a while, very, very long time. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited to see more of these presentations. I think hopefully the next one might be the Starfield one in the future. So, very, very excited. Check that out. So we'll talk about Starfield in the future, but. So besides that, Pete, I'm excited also to get your thoughts about like Xbox announcing Hi-Fi Rush during the Direct.
So big surprise, obviously. I think it took everybody by surprise, with the exception of maybe the handful of people that worked at that were working PR, Microsoft, etc. But when you first think of Tango, Hi-Fi Rush is the last thing that you expect coming out of the gates, right? Everybody's expecting Evil Within 2 at the end of the day. This totally came out of left field. But like we were talking about, it's a rhythm action game, is right up our alley, right? Moves and attacks that add notes. And like the more your attacks and timing is synced to the music, you get bigger and better. You get more points or more, you get a bigger area of attack or bigger attacks, period. The gameplay, if you look at it just from like a viewer's perspective, kind of reminded me of like a rhythm-based Kingdom Hearts.
Okay.
But it also gave you, and you're going to love this, it also gave me Sunset Overdrive mixed with Jet Set Radio vibes.
Yes. I mean, that's the first thing that I thought about. Like, I'm like, yo, is this like kind of like a new Jet Set Radio type vibe or Sunset Overdrive? The part where he jumped when they showed the trailer. I was like, okay, that's Sunset Overdrive right there. That vibe, the colors, the design, everything, and the soundtrack, which is amazing. Pete, they have 9 Inch Nails in there. 9 Inch Nails,
Black Keys, Prodigy, Wolfgang Gartner, and that's just like 4 that I recognized of the 5 or 6 that they put up there. So
yeah. But they also have like original soundtrack produced by the studio, but. Let me tell you this, Pete. So I started playing the game, right? I was like, okay, this is a big, huge surprise from Xbox. Let me try this out. Download it, play it. The good thing about this, you don't really need to stay like rhythm playing the game. You can still play it, kind of like a typical action type game, right? But the more you stay in rhythm, you get more points, and also the music changes based on your grade. So let's say for certain parts, if you're grading, it says S or like A, now you can hear the actual song with the lyrics and all that stuff, right? So like for like the boss battle, the first one, they had 9 Inch Nails, and Pete, I was like, yo, this is like. This is next level, man. It reminded me a little bit of the Hellsinger.
Okay.
Metal Hellsinger, right? The SPS. Same thing based on your points and the way how you're doing in the game. The music changes. If not, you would just listen to like the instrumental, the background beat.
So
you know what I'm saying? So
is it an original? Like, are these original tracks for the song for the game, or are these like songs?
No. This is some are licensed. Is the license part, you only will hear it during like the boss battles, right? But let's say you go online and you want to stream it, to your community, then you put streaming mode, and right there you will get the unlicensed music, so you won't get
got it. Okay,
like those takedowns and everything like that. But overall, Pete, like the game is amazing. I just love that you get to learn more about. Because right now, actually, a couple minutes before I started recording here, I was still playing because I'm almost towards the end. So you get to learn more about Chai and his friends, and which I don't want to like spoil the story or anything like that. But it's freaking good. I honestly, this to me, I know this is early. That you just started, but this is the early contender of Game of the Year for me, hands down. I said this before, multiple games in the past. Like I mentioned this multiple times on GTR of games that came out around this time, like around January, February, and it still was part of my Game of the Year list at the end of that year. Let's see. So look, so what I did, honestly, because this is out on Steam, Also, get Xbox, Game Pass, PC, and the Xbox console, so you could just buy it too. So what I decided, I was like, okay, I know I'm gonna get a code for the console version, but I'm gonna actually buy this on the Steam, and I want to check out to see if this works on the Steam Deck. Pete, flawless on the Steam Deck.
Really?
Flawless. It works so good. So because Reed been playing a lot of the Disney game. The I don't know, I forgot the name of it. It's like the Valley, something Disney Valley game. I don't know. So she's been playing that a lot, right? So I was like, oh, let me just hang out. We were both playing Steam Deck, and that was the game that I was playing for hours. I was just there, and I noticed the battery compared to like when you play like Cyberpunk and like The Witcher, which is bigger games, of course. Those games drain more battery than this one. That's something that I noticed. So I'm like, okay, this is good. So I was playing for a long time. And so now I'm back. I've been switching back on my PC and the Steam Deck. And once I finish on the PC version, I'm going to go and play the console version. And so
interesting.
But yeah,
interesting.
It's so good.
Good to know that, because like we were talking about before the show, I have a work trip. I'm out tomorrow. Tomorrow morning I'm on a plane and I'm gone until Friday afternoon. So if that's the case, I may just have to like fire it up and pull the trigger. I haven't yet because I was thinking I'll just do it through Game Pass, whatever. But if I can light, if it's a fun type game like that on the Steam Deck, I'll just get it on the Steam Deck and blow and have something to do on the flight. Right, it's a 2.5 hour flight. So.
Yeah, and this is the most important thing, because this reminds me of like the old days when I played games on like an handheld. Some of those games, it is important to play with your headphones on. This is one of them. This was one of them. It feels different. Like the whole experience is just totally different when you play this, man. You get to hear a lot of the beat in the background, like of certain levels. Because look, when you walk in certain parts of the game, everything is some rhythm. Everything is right. Even the character, you see him going like this, like on rhythm, and also your companion 808, which is really cool.
That was really cool. Yeah, I love that reference. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
I just got a new pair of in-ear monitors. So I'll use those for those. So I'm looking forward to it.
But before we continue with the Xbox Developer Direct, here's the thing that I really liked about that surprise of just dropping that game out of nowhere. Xbox could do that in the future for multiple games. It doesn't have to be a AAA game. The reason why is a lot easier because back then, it was all about the retail, selling the game, and they need to market the game and all that stuff. But now they could just simply test this out. I know, shout out to Phoenix, Beyonce style, and just release an album without no promotion, no interviews, nothing, just release it. Because I think once people hear that, the fans are definitely gonna download it. You're gonna see in the top of the charts, and it's doing pretty good. Like the reviews has been phenomenal everywhere, right? And it's not gonna hurt Xbox. So imagine shadow dropping more games in the future. Not every single direct, but it will be cool to get more of these from the company, man. So I love it. So another thing I want to talk about too, Pete, is the Redfall. I know we talked about Minecraft Legends and Hi-Fi Rush. Redfall, are you excited? Excited about the game after watching the presentation?
I've been excited for Redfall since the original announcement. I don't know. I mean, yes, it gave me Left 4 Dead vibes at the same time, right? Left 4 Dead means vampires, but I think if there's a team that can drop or deliver what we're looking for in this game, it's Arcane, right? It's their biggest map yet, right? With a totally new IP. I think it's great that they're trying to separate themselves away from, all the great games that they've done before. And at the end of the day, this is what you want as gaming fans or just gamers. We're always clamoring and asking, oh, give us something new, give us something different. And they're giving us something different. So what's wrong with that? What's so difficult in being happy that they're giving us a little bit, they're giving us a new twist on something else. So I'm looking forward to it. I like the fact that they're leveraging the vampire thing. And yes, it does kind of seem almost like a trope these days, right? With, we've got Vampire Survivors and V Rising, and now we've got this. But I'm hyped for it. I'm excited for it. I like what they're doing to it. I like that you get 4 characters co-op. I like that it's not just a shoot 'em up. You get to use your abilities that do more, right? Like, for example, what's her name? Gives you the ability to jump up in the air. The other one has the ability to go cloak and go fully invisible. Things like that. That's what you want. You want to see iterations to make improvements on future games, and I'm looking forward to it. And plus, I love the fact that they're actually using characters of color as opposed to everybody with pasty white skin.
Mm-hmm. I was reading like the tweets just to see what people were saying, and I was very surprised seeing a lot of the mixed feelings about the game. I personally think it's going to be great and a lot of fun, especially because look, I love Far Cry, I love Left 4 Dead. I just love games like that, Back 4 Blood, and play with friends and do side quests and main story. I'm all in. The part where I'm kind of like, it seems like it was still early build, was they're not showing anything on the screen, like where's the map, where's like the health bar, you get what I'm saying? Like there was a lot of things I was wondering, okay, how much ammo does my character has? Like there's a lot of stuff from that part I felt like it was missing from the presentation, and I think that was the questions that I got to see the most from people overall, while they were talking about the game while they were watching the presentation. So do you agree with that, Pete, with that part? I felt like the game looks gorgeous. Like I love the design and everything, but still a lot of questions about everything else,
So when you take that into account, think of a game, and we're going to talk about this one in a little bit. Dead Space. There is no HUD. Everything that you need is either on your character or on the weapon you're going to use. And that's probably, and I like that formula, right? Clean up the screen and the clutter. I don't need to see a little, wayward map here and the little thing. Make those things interactive or a part of the game, not just screen clutter that's up on my on the 4 corners of the screen. So I like that. But I'm also understanding that this is a demo. They're showing you components or bits of gameplay, but not the full thing, which is okay because I want to be surprised. If they're not going to do something like they did with Dead Space with the life bar in the back, your little stasis thing on your shoulder, and your ammo count is on your weapons. But I want that to be a surprise as well. Show it to me in the game. Show me, this developer direct was just to give the developers an opportunity to actually speak about the game, not have a celebrity or trotting out Phil for 10 minutes or bringing out Aaron or whoever. And I'd love to see them, but this gave them a chance to speak about their game and the experience of bringing their titles to life. So I'm glad that they're leaving something on the table so that when you pop in the game for the first time, you get a welcome surprise. I'm sure we'll get others. Obviously, we'll get hopefully we all get early access availability, and we'll get the opportunity to maybe stream it online as well prior to launch. But those are things little by little. They don't have to give you everything day one, right?
No. But here's the thing, Pete. Okay, a couple things. One is this is a very totally different game than Dead Space. Dead Space is not an open world like this one, like Redfall. That's number one. Number two, I get there's no UI, but it's a different design, like compared to Redfall. With Dead Space, you get to see the health. You just walk from A to B. You get what I'm saying? Like it's different compared to Redfall. So that part, I just don't agree with what you were saying on that part.
That's okay. We don't have to. We don't have to agree to disagree. We can agree to disagree if anything.
But again, maybe this is early. Maybe we'll get to see something different once it gets closer. Are there going to be any events in the future, preview events or something like that? Or maybe they'll, give us review copies early for the game. I definitely would love to try it out and talk about it.
Remember, they said May 2nd is the launch date. You've got February, March, and April. You got 3 months, 90 days to go through all of that. Again, remember, these are iterative builds. This is probably some kind of a fork in the development dedicated just to be able to show what was ready to go for the developer direct. So I'm sure that what we saw on the screen is probably 6, 7, or 8 builds away from where they're actually at, because it was specifically tailored for what they're trying to achieve for the developer direct. So I would take that with a grain of salt and just be like, look, we'll see the full thing as we get closer. So I don't know if that's something we should be nitpicking at this time.
All right. Well, let's talk very quickly about Forza Motorsport. So I'm a huge Forza Forza fan. I played Horizon more than Motorsport, but I think this one is going to be very different than the previous Motorsport games. One thing is, love the design of this, the environment. This is also, for those that don't know, 4K 60 FPS, real-time ray tracing. You could also have, I believe, over 500 cars, 20 environments, new locations, 5 in total. Originally, I thought this game was going to come out in June of 2023, but it looks like it's going to come out after that. Because remember, if you guys remember, last year, we went to E3, or not E3, the Summer Game Fest. We got to see the showcase, and they show us games that was coming out from that time for 12 months. And it looks like this game is not coming out in June because they just said the release date 2023. That's it. No release date. So, Pete, your thoughts about this game? Were you surprised there was no release date for this one?
I liked, like you said, 500 cars, 800 plus different upgrades you can apply to them. They talked about all of the technical advancements in this latest Forza was more than they put in 5, 6, and 7 combined. They introduced the Kyalami track, which is in Africa. They sent the team out there to do, data capture, images, etc. It came back to like 3 terabytes of data, which is pretty impressive. They talked about fully dynamic lighting and weather, including variable track temps and surface conditions that changed throughout the race. As a fan of Formula One, I thought it was really cool that they did something like that they took the temperature of the track, which could increase or decrease throughout the time of day based on, the weather patterns and stuff like that. I thought that was rather cool. And that it takes that, the change in temperatures will impact the track temperatures, which impacts the surface, which impacts your tire deg while racing. So the little things like that, I thought was really cool that they paid special attention to things like that. But it's funny because a lot of that sounds like every other Forza we've heard on every release, built from the ground up to be the most incredible Forza we've ever brought. It's I don't want to say it's market speak, but it does sound very, very close to that. But it looks gorgeous. It looks beautiful. There's bits of those gameplay video captures that you legitimately can't tell whether it's somebody with a red camera or it's actually just a video game that you're playing, right? And that's remarkable. Like what did he call it? Phototropic sensitive or something photography to capture the sheen of the light with the paint on cars. It looks impressive. I'm sure it will be great, but I want to see it. I want to see the gameplay. I got to see real true gameplay when it comes out.
Well, shout out to my wife, Rihanna. I guess she's also watching the live recording. For those who listen to the podcast, we also have a live stream recording. Make sure to check us out on twitch.tv/Gamertag Radio. If you want to join us, I post some questions and comments about the show. So she said, pretty sure they said end of June on Twitter. Okay, who's they? It's not Xbox. Not Xbox. And if it was Xbox, they would have posted during the presentation June of this year, and they didn't. The reason is it's coming out later, most likely between June, September, around there maybe, but they didn't say anything about June. I think Jeff Keighley was the only one, I think, and this is, I think I saw his tweet, said something about June, but I don't know. I don't think so. Hey, if you guys found the tweet, please post it in the chat. Let me know if I'm wrong.
I see it online. Remember. Jeff Grubb is saying that it'll be June 2023, but again, got to take that with a grain of salt.
See, but Jeff Grubb, he doesn't work at Xbox. I want to hear from
I get that.
From the, you know what I'm saying? That's all. Look, hey, it might come out in June, but why? Yeah. It wasn't there. It should have said June of 2023.
Okay, I'm saying it's because last year at E3, they announced that the game would be coming out within a year. And obviously, E3 is in June, so that would give it 1 calendar year. So that, but I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, so Jeff Grubb says the release date is fixed for the 3rd quarter of 2023, which could be anywhere from July to September.
Exactly. See, that makes more sense. Usually they've released games like that around September, closer to October for like Forza, right? Unless there's nothing that year, but there's a lot of games coming out this year from Xbox first party.
Would you,
especially Starfield? Like when is the right time to release Starfield then? If let's say Forza comes out in June.
Well, like I said, if they release it in the middle of the year, which honestly probably not a bad time to drop it because that's traditionally like cemetery month for video games, right? There's never anything big because nobody wants to drop a game in the middle of announcement season, right? Mm-hmm. So I would think if you're going to drop it, you drop it during that hollow area between like July and September. So that way you don't have it cannibalizing any other major launches, Starfield, if you're not catching what I'm picking up there. That makes sense because you don't want to drop Forza and have it compete with Starfield, or vice versa. You don't want to drop Forza and then drop Starfield, or you don't want to drop Starfield and then try to drop Forza a month later because it's you're going to be cannibalizing your players. And yes, I don't. Hold on. You do have your fans of each one, but you're cannibalizing views and marketing from one against the other. You drop, I'm throwing this out there. You drop Forza in August, September, and then you drop Starfield in October, November. That gives you plenty of time to iterate throughout the year. And like I said, when we talked about our guesstimates for the launches, you put Starfield at the tail end. You give it as much more time as you have it to bake, because they said they're going to, they want to make sure that it comes out right, because, hey, we'll talk about that. And we could talk about that unless we want to just talk about, that. But look, Todd Howard has a history. It just works.
Yes.
Right? He has a history of coming out and saying it's going to come out and launch great. And whether it was Fallout 4, Fallout 76, or what have you, something always happens. So take as much humanly time as possible. Hey, look, at the end of the day, if you got to delay to early 24, do it. They likely won't, because I think you're going to have way too many eyeballs on this right now. But you drop that in that hollow space, like July, August timeframe, just after E3 and all of the other showcases and announcements. You drop it, give people time to jump into the game, play throughout the fall, and then during the holiday season, bang it out with Starfield and knock it out.
I think, look, I get where you're coming from, Pete, but I think that's the old school mentality of marketing back for me, in my opinion. Again, the same thing that I said in the beginning of the show. With Xbox Game Pass, it changes completely with everything, with announcements, once you release games, because now companies are not depending on retail. They're not. This is more about the subscription service, right? Now, publicly, the companies like Xbox is not going to go and say that, because they have business relationship with all these retailers, right, from all over around the world. But think of it like let's say Netflix, for example. there's content all the time. I'm talking about big budget movies, TV shows that comes out almost every week. Multiple shows, multiple movies every week comes out. And sometimes it gets promoted ahead of time. Sometimes it's just like it's out now. And people will go and check it out. Like, it doesn't hurt the service for Netflix to do that. And here's the thing. All those games that you mentioned is totally different games, different genres. There's going to be a very small percentage of us that are going to get and download every single game because we just love games, right? But there's some that they don't care about Starfield, but they care about Forza. That's the only game they want to play. That's another crowd too. You get what I'm saying? So I don't see an issue releasing back-to-back games like that because it worked for Nintendo too. If you think about it, the first year, and look at for those who are listening and watching this, look it up online. The first year that Nintendo Switch came out, every month there was an exclusive game from Nintendo for that console. Zelda, some of them were like ports, right? Mario Kart, etc. Right? For the whole year was like that, and it worked out for Nintendo. Again, totally different crowds. I know the Nintendo crowd is a lot hardcore when it comes to like buying every single game, but it worked out for Nintendo. It could do the same exact thing for Xbox if release a game like this, like Hi-Fi Rush. Then you have, Minecraft Legends. Like, just every month a big game, or maybe two different games. That's like a bigger one and a smaller one that during that month, and it's still going to be pretty good for not only for the consumers but also for the company too, in my opinion. No,
it's hard to say. You can't. I find it difficult to throw Nintendo mentality on what everybody else does because they don't play by the same rule book, right? Nintendo going to do what Nintendo's going to do, and it doesn't matter what they really don't care what Sony or Microsoft does at the end of the day. I find it difficult to try to apply the same mentality for one to the other. I just don't see it happening for the two. I think they play by a completely different rule book. So it doesn't matter at the end of the day what Nintendo's going to do. So I just don't think you can apply that.
Hey, look, for those who are listening, hit us up, fan mail. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree or disagree? Please let us know because we could go back and forth with this. All right, now we're gonna go to the next topic. This is very important, not only to me but also to Pete, because we have a very, very long history with this game, Dead Space. We were there from the beginning. Actually, we got invited to the community day for the original Dead Space. Oh my God, what year was that, Pete? 2007, 2008, around there?
The game was 2007, so yeah.
Yeah, 2007. We were like one of the first people to get to see this game, got to play. We also interviewed the developers and everything. So, hearing that EA was working on a remake on this game, I was like, oh man, I'm all in. I can't wait. This is going to be exciting to play this again. And Pete, I got the game early. I know you also got the game recently. Thanks to EA for sending us review codes, not only to me, Pete, but also to Paris. And it feels different, Pete. Like, I just love, first of all, the sound. It's great. The graphics of this game, everything looks fantastic. Now, the part where I had to really, really get used to is hearing the main character, Isaac, talk in the game. There's no dialogue for his character back in the original one, man. That was one thing I had to like really get used to. Another thing too, there's no loading like compared to the first game, because once you, like, let's say you take a train or you go to like a different area, you get to see the game like loading, right? With this one, it's like you start the game and that's it. You're in there the whole time. And it's been an amazing experience for me, man. I haven't completely finished the game at all. I'm almost there towards the end, but it's fantastic, man. Fantastic. Now, one thing I have to mention, I'm there playing the game, Pete. I'm there playing the game. I'm walking around. I'm not going to say where I found this. I go in there to this location, and usually you'll see graphics like like writings from people that was in that ship. There was a writing that says Ka can cook. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on a second. It can't be it. Like I'm there like thinking the whole time, no, this can't be it. There's no way this is Khalif with this message in the game to Paris. And the location where I found this makes so much sense too that I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. That's the only hint I will say, man. But it's really, really good. That was a really cool surprise. Nice little Easter egg. And also for those that don't know, Ka from Spawn on Me was also part of the console. There was a group of people from the community that also helped with developing of the game, like giving feedback to the team and everything, man. So Pete, your thoughts about Dead Space, and have you got to see the Easter egg yet, or what?
No, unfortunately, we talked about this just prior to the show, and no, unfortunately, I did not get a chance to find that Easter egg. I think it's hilarious.
It is funny. It's hilarious. Best Easter egg.
The fact that Ka shadow dropped an Easter egg like that in the ongoing friendly war between he and Paris. Obviously last year, with Paris and the Ka Can't Cook controller in the middle of the Xbox showcase, took everybody by surprise.
Actually, 2 years. Almost 2 years.
2 years ago. And then it took, granted, it took Ka 2 years to dig out of the grave that was dug for him. And so now, obviously, I don't know, do you call it 1-1? Is the scoreboard even now? Because that's permanent.
I can't keep up, man, because there's always stuff between these two, man. And look, Paris is working on something. You know that. Like he's like that. He's quiet, not saying anything. He doesn't say anything to us. He just surprise everybody,
No, and that was, and so this, that whatever Paris had in the tank, he wiped that, and he's just like, oh no, we got to go. We have more. It's basically the Adam Driver, the Adam Driver scene from Star Wars, like more. Yeah. He's calling in every single favor. He's sending cookies to whoever he can. He's sending Sparkles cupcakes to wherever he can. It's gonna get messy.
Oh hell yeah!
And I can't wait. I want to see more.
It's gonna be fun. Now, Pete, about Dead Space, man.
No, it's
Dead Space. It's phenomenal, bro. Like the game is.
They did a great job. I agree. When I fired up the game and I saw that first part of Isaac talking, I was just like, I had to really go back into like the memory banks, the foggy memory banks, and be like, did this happen? Like, because that was always the thing. You never heard Isaac until obviously when I think it was 2 or 3 that you actually heard him speak. The only time you heard him was when he was grunting or when he was out of breath, but you never heard a single word get uttered out of his mouth throughout that entire time. But like I was saying at the beginning of this, before we came online, it still gets you. Like you still like, as soon as that music starts to creep in, it's about to go down, and it's just a matter of when. I play the game with the lights on here, right? And there's moments where like, it's not even a creature, it's not even one of the monsters that come and get you. It's a body flung across the room that catches you out like that when you're not expecting it. And next thing you know, you're jumping out of your chair and you're like, all right, I need to take a minute real quick. Let me regroup. Let me go have a sip of water or something like that. But, shout out to Motive. Shout out to EA. Again, thanks for the code. I'm not even close to like 25% or 30% of the game because I'm taking my time. And oh my God, it's been amazing. It's been fantastic. They did an amazing job on this.
I have to mention that I also tried to play this on the Steam Deck. It doesn't work on the Steam Deck at all. Just giving you guys a warning. I tried.
I love how that is now becoming a barometer for a game. right? It's like,
well, there's reasons why. There's different reasons why, but go ahead. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying it's great that the Steam Deck has now become that like barometer for portability. And it's that it's an option now, right? That it's an option to be able to say, you know what? I want to play this game on the road. Let me just take this, put it in the car, put it in the plane, put it in my backpack, jump on a train or whatever, and you can play most games. Okay, a good chunk of your library can be played on the Steam Deck, and that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I was talking with a bunch of friends online the other day because we're looking forward to Hogwarts Legacy. Like, wait a minute, can you play that on the Steam Deck? Another title coming, I think February 10th, that you can play on the Steam Deck. So,
yeah, the thing is with when usually when I get games for review and it's on Steam, that's the first thing I do. I'm like, okay, I know it's gonna work on my computer. This is gonna work on the Steam Deck, because usually, sometimes the games is so early when we get it, it's not like verified on Steam Deck. You know what I'm saying? So I just download it, test it out to see if it's gonna work or not. Oh, look at that! Boom. There you go. All right, Pete. But yeah, guys, highly recommended. Go and check out Dead Space Remake. Look, this week has been phenomenal. This week, multiple great games have been coming out. I know they also released Xbox and Nintendo released GoldenEye 007. We not going to have a time to talk about it here, but I've been hearing a lot of mixed things about the game, especially for the Nintendo version, because the controls I heard is pretty bad, and online is kind of meh. But we'll talk about it in the future. Now, another game that I would like to talk about here, but we're not going to have time. It's also Forspoken. I got a code actually recently from Square Enix for me to review the game. I just, again, there's only 3 of us, so I only have enough time to play a certain amount of games. But hopefully I could talk about it in the future. The only thing I will say is this. Usually you're going to get to see sites with mixed reviews or whatever of a game, right? But if I was you, for those that are curious about getting the game or not, go out there and buy it if you feel like you want to play this game, and don't get discouraged just because you see a game getting a 6 or a 7. Like, there's tons of games that got bad reviews, and I love the game. And if you can think about it, one game that I remember that all of us, because we were all on the same page and we were super excited for it, was Destiny. And the first Destiny, believe it or not, got a 6 when it came out. Multiple sites gave it a 6. It was one of the best games reviewed 6 ever. So don't get discouraged about that, man. You know what I'm saying? So just want to say that very quick. Now, Pete, I know we have fan mail questions here. We have 2. I know we want to talk about the Phil Spencer interview, but we're not gonna have time. I have stuff to do today, so we'll talk about it in the future. But do you have the audio there?
Yep, I have them. I have them ready to go.
All right, here goes, and it's time for fan mail.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
Hi, Gamertag. It's Willie Canuck here. A big hello to all of you. I've been sick as a dog for 2 weeks, so apologize for my voice. Question for me is, assuming that the Activision Blizzard merger goes through, apart from the titles that are already well known, such as Diablo and Call of Duty, what IP would you like to see resurrected from the Activision vault, which hasn't been seen in a long time? I'd be really curious, and I know that Phil Spencer has said that is one of his primary goals, is to dig into the vault and see what they can bring back. Hope you're all great. Take care.
All right, thank you very much, Willie. Hope you feel better. Assuming the Microsoft ABK merger actually goes through, though, And I'll be the first to admit that the time is right for the return of both Guitar and DJ Hero franchises. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right.
As the resident metalhead and DJ and guitarist of the show, I want to be first in line to see that. So make it happen.
Great picks.
That's how you start off the show. Okay. That's how you start off fan mail. I know they already announced Crash Team Rumble at the Game Awards last month. But I think Crash deserves his own single player experience game. That would have obviously been on the list if Team Rumble wasn't announced. Nothing against Team Rumble, but I want to see a totally Crash Bandicoot style game on its own. And last but not least is a legend himself, and I'm not talking about Tony Hawk, but rather Pitfall.
Oh my God. Yeah, I got that game in my head too. Yes.
But, you know, look, Pitfall was a favorite of mine as a child. Okay. We're going back 30 plus 40 years. I would love to see it come back to life with today's technology. And I don't care what the Zoomers say, if they're even listening to a podcast. Temple Run might have been fun, but for me, it's always been a clone of Pitfall. So please bring back Pitfall, please.
Pitfall could be like the next Uncharted for Xbox, like that type of game. Because I also played that game during the Atari 2600 days, and that was an Activision game. That was actually my first Activision game that I played, was Pitfall. So now, Pete, I hope you're ready for this one, Pete. I hope you're ready for this pick. Ladies and gentlemen, the game that I would like to see to come back, that's from Activision, Blizzard. The legendary Blur.
Oh.
Racing game.
Oh.
It was created by Bizarre Creations.
That's right. Wow.
Let me tell you this. I remember when Activision sent us 100 codes for the beta. Bro, we were playing that game with the community nonstop. Mandy was there, UP. It was like a group of us just every day for hours. I felt like it was the full game. It was just a beta. Yo, bring back Blur. Oh my God. Love Blur.
Agreed.
Love Blur. Is there anything else? I'm trying. Yes, DJ Hero for sure. I think honestly for me, Pete, I would like to see DJ Hero more than the Guitar Hero, but both games are great.
I mean, at the end of the day, if you really think about it, Guitar Hero, between Guitar Hero and Rock Band, those two killed music instrument style things, right? And it wasn't until just I want to say 2016 when Ubisoft dropped Rocksmith, and that changed the game, because then it became more than pressing 5 buttons, but it was, I could pick up a guitar with actual strings, plug in via, a 1/4 inch, and actually play guitar and learn to play a song, whether I was playing Bob Marley or I was playing Soundgarden, or I could learn a song from Testament, or I could, whatever, it didn't matter. Those games from DJ Hero and Guitar Hero started that whole thing up, and Rock Band too. I don't want to take it away from Rock Band, but it's ABK, so we're talking. I need those. It's time. The time is right to bring back something like that. I thought about Skylanders as something to bring back.
I don't know. I don't think so. That wasn't for me, that game.
Like the concept was cool. You could actually maybe leverage like Web3 and NFT into that same thing. I know, saying those terms are usually, it's usually something that like gives like the little like I just like somebody farted type smell in the room. So people usually get turned off, but it's an opportunity, right? It's something that's different, right? You could use, because at the end of the day, it's kind of like an NFT, right? You have like the character thing, but it's not unique to the single person because they're mass produced pieces of plastic. But it's something out there, right? It's something that to consider. I just thought that was something that you could play around with.
Yeah. All right. I hope we have time. I really have to go.
Okay. We've got one last one. I can fire it up. It's ready to go. One last.
Yeah. Go play it. Play. So we could head out.
What's going on, Gamertag Radio? How are you brothers doing? This is Keon calling from Baltimore. I have to ask you guys your opinion on this. Do you guys think that Starfield is going to live up to the hype, to these huge, lofty expectations that everybody has about this game? I mean, over the last couple of days, I've been listening to podcasts where I think people's expectations are way too high, saying this is the biggest game we've ever seen. You're going to be traveling to hundreds of different planets. And I understand the way Todd Howard is marketing the game. He has said some things that definitely could put him on the hot seat later. I mean, after all, we've seen what happened with Cyberpunk 2077. But that's my question to you guys. Do you think that Starfield is going to be able to deliver? I'm not so sure. Honestly, I don't think it's going to be a bad game, but at the same time, I don't know if it's going to reach these lofty goals and expectations that everybody has. But I love to get you guys' opinion. As always, you guys are awesome, fantastic show. And with that being said, you guys have a good one. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Keon. As usual, coming in hot and loud.
Always. You want me to answer this, Pete, real quick?
Go for it.
Very quick. This game, once it comes out, it has to be a 9 and up. Has to be, in order for the press and the community to say that this is going to be a successful game. I think, based on the reviews. Now, if this game comes out, maybe an 8, maybe 8 will work out too. But let's say this game comes out as a 7 or a 6, let's just say, mixed reviews or something like that, it doesn't look good. For me, learning from the experience that we had with Cyberpunk, which now the game is phenomenal now, right? When that came out, when it was coming out, we were like excited, hype. We thought this was going to be like one of the greatest games ever made. And we got to play it, and I'm like, oh man, it's a lot of bugs here. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like right now I'm excited for Starfield, but I'm not as hype as previously from other games. I'd rather wait. It's like a wait and see for me. Yes, much respect to Bethesda, Todd Howard, the team. I know this is going to be a really, really big game, but I just want to see once it comes out officially for me to say, my final thoughts about the game overall. So I still have faith because I think this is a very important game for Xbox in general. It's a very, very important game for them.
Pete? So I think we need to consider a few things. First is the sheer size of modern AAA games today, right? We're talking budgets that exceed that of major Hollywood blockbuster movies. Talking A-list actors participating in mocap and voice. And that's just before we take into consideration the sheer cost of the development of the game. You got to also take into consideration Starfield has, I think they said like over 250,000 lines of dialogue, 1,000 planets to visit, not to mention language support for 9 or 10 different dialects. That includes France, Italy, Germany, Spain, Japanese, Polish, Portuguese, and some others. Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 76 only had 6, right? So, and then you have return of investment, right? Or gameplay link. Some people use that. Last I checked, I think one of the developers had mentioned that it was going to fall anywhere from like 30 to 40 hours for the main storyline. And then there's, you take into consideration Fallout 4 had about 25 to 30-ish. Take that also. Now you've got, and that's just for the main, and then you've got various planets and side quests. So you throw maybe another 15 to 20, maybe 25. And then how good the gameplay is will also factor into whether you even get to those time frames, right? Because some people will go in, do a mission, bounce, So, and then finally, to answer your question, Keon, hype is subjective, right? Yes. Like I said earlier in the show, Todd Howard and Bethesda have been bitten by the it just works bugs before. And whether it was Skyrim or it was Fallout 4, Fallout 76, for the last 3 or 4 major games that Bethesda has dropped, it's it's launched in a not so ideal state. It's probably the best way that I can actually phrase it without being demeaning or saying bad things about it. But it is not launched in a great state. Has it improved beyond that? Absolutely. Games like those 3, whether it took them 6 months to a year, but they all got to that one point. And that's the thing. Will Starfield, I think that's the most important thing to take into consideration, whether this game is becoming overhyped, is will they be able to launch in a state that is good enough to overcome any bugs or any flaws and support it from a longevity perspective before it gets to that major patch that just fixes everything, right? Mm-hmm. What is our expectation of it in comparison to what Todd Howard and the rest of Bethesda are hyping it up to be is something that we need to take a grant, maybe if it is that important to you that the hype is maybe clouding the judgment of whether you decide to buy the game or not, take 5. You know what I mean? Hold and just wait, watch reviews, watch streamers play the game, and see if this game is actually right up your alley, as opposed to dropping $70 and then getting disappointed off rip if it's not what you were expecting in that first hour or 2.
Well, to be fair, Pete, if you have Game Pass, you can just download it. Just saying. Just saying.
It's true. Very true.
You're not gonna. What is it? You're just gonna, have less space on your hard drive. That's the only thing. So all right, Pete, I have to head out because I have to do a couple of things here today at the house. But everyone, thank you so much for watching and also listening to Gamertag Radio episode 1241. This was your host, Danny, and also Peter here. And I can't wait to come back next week with more topics, and it's gonna be a lot of fun, man. A lot of good games coming out this year. This year's gonna be a great year for games. So we're gonna have a lot of content. I have actually a couple things lined up for the show, and I hope you guys are ready. Get ready. And yeah, that's it. By the way, next month, the 18th anniversary of GTR. 18.
That's right. Jesus.
Next month.
He's a teenager. He's he done grown up.
And this is the wild thing, and I'll wrap it up here, Pete, but I was on Instagram, and one of our mutual friends, Garcia, shout out to him. His daughter
just
turned 15.
Juliet.
I remember we had our party, our community vibes party, that Garcia was supposed to perform at that party, but he couldn't because his wife, she was going to give birth, and it was actually his daughter.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow.
We talk often, and it's crazy. It's insane. I saw the pictures this morning when I woke up of, him dancing at the quinceañera. It's just, and like, obviously I see we talk all the time. But just to see his daughter going from the little girl to now she's a young woman or a young lady. It's wild. Seeing friends in the industry, in the community, John Long, his son, barely recognizable. We can even go back to Paris and pictures of Trey. Like when he was like this big, bro. Like literally, he was like the size of one of these like these Disney Infinity things, right? And now he don't even look like Trey. Like I remember, when we went to San Diego, we stayed at Paris's house, meeting Rox and the kids, and they were littleins, and now they're adults, and it's mind blowing to see them just to see them grown like that. So it's kids, man. Kids.
It's kid, time flies.
Kids.
Man. All right, guys. Until next time. Thank you for listening to episode 1241. We're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.